And welcome back to the conclusion of our Toxic Avenger 4K UHD saga comparing to the previous released Blu-ray. So we wrapped up with Toxic Avenger Part 3, and now we're going to dive into the Toxic Avenger Part 4, Citizen Toxie. So it's been 11 years between the Toxic Avenger Part 3 and the Toxic Avenger 4. And, wow. This movie is something special, I can tell you that. I mean, the first clue of what I was in for is that they cast porn legend Ron Jeremy as a co-star in a movie. You know you're in for something. Now, the budget was a little more than $500,000, and unlike the previous 3 movies, where you definitely saw where all the money went with the special effects and makeup effects, but with this one, the only place I could see where the money went was up their noses. Toxic Avenger's own makeup effects look like the actor is just wearing a cheap plastic head mask that looks like a kid's Halloween mask that you would find in a store. They didn't even try with this one with the special effects. They just dove straight head into, we don't care about this one, and it clearly shows. This movie is just an outstanding mess to the point where I honestly didn't even want to continue watching it, but I pushed through the headache-induced trauma, and here I am. And just as with the previous 3 movies, Toxic Avenger 4 also comes at us with a new 4K restoration from the original 35mm negative with HDR grading, corrected aspect ratio of 1:8:5:1, and it includes the unrated director's cut. And the entire 4K restoration was done by Vinegar Syndrome and approved by Lloyd Kaufman. Okay, so let's dive into the world of Traumaville one last time and take a look at the differences between the 4K UHD against the Blu-ray, and you're going to want to stick around till the end of the review for a rundown of all the special features that's included in this set. Say what you will about the movie, but you cannot deny this 4K UHD experience is excellent. Looking brighter, clearer, and sharper, where the only cleanup was any kind of damage related to the film being in storage. The HDR grading expands the colors, giving extra color depth, allowing for primaries to come to life, delivering rich neonish and lush greens, deep natural blues, strong crimson reds, whereas the Blu-ray, the colors were muted and pretty weak. Skin tones are also warmer and looking more natural, no longer looking pale as it did on the Blu-ray, and the saturation is elevated slightly, giving the image more lifelike punch without it looking artificially boosted or too hot. And contrast is also dialed in just right to give natural brightness to the image. I will say though that a nice improvement here on the 4K is with the details. The Blu-ray had a rather very flat looking image, even some slight blurriness. On the 4K, we have excellent fine details throughout. The extra added depth creates more spaciousness in the image, especially with exteriors, giving some excellent three-dimensionality. And interiors are loaded to the brim with various decor. Signs are also more legible, while on the Blu-ray, they look slightly blurry. The 4K just takes full advantage of the added lines under the 2160p resolution, showing off the entire production design, and it looks great. Black levels on the Blu-ray were all over the place, from bright blacks to heavy crushing, to the point of engulfing details and also even some slight colors. The 4K now delivers us those deep inky blacks and rich shadows that are very consistent throughout and stable, drawing out all those details and colors that were otherwise lost on the Blu-ray. The bitrate ranges from 73 topping out around 98 or 100 Mbps, and the grain structure here is fully intact, giving us much better resolved grain that's tighter looking with a filmic appearance that we just did not get on the Blu-ray. Alright, now let's dive into the audio presentation of Toxic Avenger 4 on 4K, and I have to say, out of all 4 of the movies, this is definitely the best sounding audio mix out of the set, which honestly isn't surprising considering that this was made in 2000. This is just a very welcome new DTS lossless stereo track sourced from the original audio mix. Dialogue is very clear and precise. This time around, the score and pop tracks are also clear with some nice dynamic range and also precisely in sync, where I didn't need to keep my finger on the volume up and down button. It's a pretty decent sounding mix. Alright, so my score for Trauma's 4K UHD of Toxic Avenger 4, I'm giving the video a 5 out of a 5, and the audio, I'm giving it a 4 out of a 5. But head over to the comment section and let me know, when you look at the differences here between the 4K and the previous Blu-ray, which do you like better? Head over to the comment section and let me know. Alright, well if you stuck around this long, obviously you want to hear the special features, so here's the rundown. It includes a new intro from Lloyd Kaufman. It also has 3 audio commentary tracks, one with Lloyd Kaufman, the second with the movie's producer, and the third is with the movie's 2 editors. And this is the feature that makes this set all worthwhile. A 1 hour and 50-minute feature-length documentary, and nothing is held back in this documentary. You're basically a fly on the wall from the casting, location shooting, behind the scenes with the crew. Lloyd Kaufman becoming frustrated with on-set problems, from camera malfunctions, crew walkouts, and actresses who refuse to do any kind of nudity, even though they signed the contract to do nudity. This is a very detailed and an honest portrait of how trauma movies are made. It's an outstanding documentary that I ended up watching twice. And this also includes a featurette with time spent with Motorhead frontman in the studio. And lastly, we have a featurette celebrating 40 years of Trauma Studios and the theatrical trailer. In fact, it includes all trailers to all 4 movies. So out of all the Toxic Avenger movies, I have to say this is definitely my least favorite. The first one is definitely my favorite, and then the second one, 3 is okay. It's just goofy fun, but this is a train wreck. I really did not like this movie at all. But again, that doesn't mean that the movie quality reflects poorly on the video quality. It's an outstanding 4K UHD, and if you own the previous release Blu-ray, then you're definitely going to want to pick this one up. Or if you don't already own it and you love trauma movies, then definitely pick up this box set. As always, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes and talking about Toxic Avenger 4. Keep physical media alive, and we'll see you next time.